Hello everyone, welcome to the Ginger Snaps here. I'll be discussing horror movies for you guys in a very blunt way. I'm your host, Steven Harrold, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my review for Christine, which was released on December 9th, 1983, 40 years ago today, and was directed by John Carpenter. Now, of course, the movie was made for $10 million, and of course, it grossed over $21 million at the box office back in 1983. So it was kind of a hit, and it became a cult classic. Now, of course, with John Carpenter, he is synonymous with Halloween, he is synonymous with The Thing, The Fog, Escape from New York, so many films in his repertoire, and of course, a lot of people do tend to talk about the film Christine. Now, of course, being 40 years on, does it hold up today? Well, let's have a look at my review for Christine. Of course, when it comes to the story of this film, it is a Stephen King adaptation about a killer car with a mind of its own who corrupts a person who just happens to buy it and is basically a evil car from hell at this rate. And a lot of people just start dying left, right, and center. Very bare, basic kind of fucking film when you really think about it. But when you have John Carpenter's way of directing and his score, and you have possibly amazing actors who can fill those roles that the story had provided, it makes the movie great in itself, especially when it comes to the story. And of course, the concept of a killer car is not new. I mean, we had Maximum Overdrive, we've had many other movies where cars just become a thing. I mean, like we had Transformers, but let's not get into that. Christine obviously is one of the films that when you think about Stephen King novels, yeah, I know you all think of It, you all think of Salem's Lot, you think of all these other books that were adaptations that became movies. Christine just happens to be one of the ones that just happens to have a good story, and of course, like I said, when you have John Carpenter attached to it, you know it's going to become a classic. As for the characters of this movie, of course, we do have three characters we follow throughout this whole entire film. We have Arnie, who is the nerdy type. He is the guy who ends up buying Christine and ends up becoming a different person throughout the time he is rebuilding her. Now, of course, like I said, he's the nerdy guy. He's the one that the girls never go for. He's the guy that the bullies always pick on until later on, while he's working on Christine, he becomes a completely different person. Now, of course, he ends up becoming one of the cool guys in the school, but now he has an attitude. He has this authority kind of way where ego, where he thinks he can do whatever he wants, say whatever he wants, get away with anything. And it's all because he's been corrupted by Christine. And now, of course, we have his best friend who is trying to figure out what the hell's going on with him. And then we have the new girl, and she is eventually the girlfriend of Arnie, and she ends up noticing the differences, and she even is scared of the car because Arnie is obsessed with that car, and it's almost like the car has a mind of its own, which it does. Now, of course, with these characters, Arnie, you get to follow through his transformation. You kind of see that he's a tragic story, a tragic figure who was one of the nice kids at the beginning of the movie, and then he becomes essentially almost the villain of the movie, but is corrupted because of Christine. And then, of course, you have the friend who is trying to help, but knows that he can't help him anymore. And then, of course, the girlfriend, she still cares for him, but she knows he's a lost cause. Now, with these characters, of course, they are very well done. They're well acted. They're well fucking versed when it comes to the time period of this movie. And of course, when it comes to the acting and the dialogue, of course, they nail it in this film. And honestly, there is not a bad performance. Even the side characters, like the bullies, they're not even bad either. They're very convincing, nonetheless. And it's all because of the characters and the cast that was put for this film. And a lot of people just love these characters. Now, of course, the main character of this movie is not Arnie. It's not his friend. It's not even the girlfriend. It's the fucking character whose name is on the fucking poster. Christine. The car itself. The car is the main character of this film, which of course is a 1957 Plymouth Fury. And of course, it's white, it's red. Even in the beginning where you see all the other cars coming off the assembly line, and she's the only one that's red. And for some odd reason, the car, being the main character of the whole entire film, it has to have that presence. It has to have that ominous feel to it. John Carpenter's directing, when it comes to the car, it almost has like a life of its own. When the car has that, it's a car with a mind of its own. And it can feel jealous. It can feel possessive. It can feel controlling and dangerous and manipulative. And the car itself, even when it's just parked, for some odd reason, you get those feelings from that car, even when you don't even see it driving. So for the work that they did with the movie in, the car itself being the main character, they did a fine job. And of course, a lot of horror fans to this day, if we went to a horror convention and Christine just happens to be there, you're going to want a picture with Christine. When it comes to the special effects of this movie, it's very minimal. I mean, like, we have people dying in ways that are killed by a car, right? I mean, you're run over, you're all this kind of stuff. Now, when it comes to the special effects, it was all done in reverse, where Christine is damaged. She has been busted up and by the bullies, and Arnie says, okay, well, show me, because she starts fixing herself up. And how they did it was they shot it in reverse, and basically they fucked up the car. They had all these jacks that like pulled the car in itself, but then they shot it in reverse to make it look like it was fixing itself. And just nicely done, right? And that's all the effects that's basically in this movie when it comes to the car, is it fixing itself. And it looked like a daunting task, but they were able to pull it off. And kudos to them on that one. Of course, we cannot all talk about the one fucking thing about this movie when it comes to the car and fixing itself, is that even at the end where you see the car's front is damaged, and of course it looks like it has teeth, right? Nice little touch. One of the most famous scenes in this movie itself, obviously, was something that was in the book, and a lot of people will even say like they wanted to see that visualized, and I know John Carpenter wanted to too as well, and that is the car of Christine on fire. And how they shot that is just, it adds more to the character of the car itself, Christine, and it driving down that road on fire was a sight to see. I mean, it's still one of the best scenes in the movie, and for some odd reason, a lot of people get a kick out of seeing that car on fire. Now, I know a lot of people, they do kind of have this question of, was Arnie behind the car the whole time? Was he behind the wheel? Because of course they had this thing where they had to blacken out the windows so that you couldn't see the stuntman driving the car. But it is not known if Arnie is behind the wheel of the car the whole fucking time. But in one of the movies where Christine comes back to the shop, and the shop owner sees the car, in ashes and everything like that, and the car, he notices no one's out in the car, and when he opens the door, no one's in there. So obviously the car can drive itself. It's proven, right? It's only at the climax of the movie where we see Arnie behind the wheel, and like I said, he is fully transformed into someone totally different, which is basically the person who died in the car, the brother of the guy who sold the car to Arnie, the one who calls everyone shitters, right? I'm going to start using that for all the young people now, shitters. But yeah, other than that, I mean, when it comes to the climax of the movie, you see Christine completely destroyed, and there's that little hint at the end where you see the part after Christine is turned into a block, and it just moves. Was that sequel bait? I don't know. It's 1983 that movie came out. It's 2023. I don't know if there's even a film even being made. But if they do make a sequel, I think I'd watch it. When it comes to this film, it's one of the films that John Carpenter is also known for, and it's a blast to watch this, even on the 40th anniversary. And for John Carpenter to have this stamp on this film, and the way he shot it with the characters and the car itself, it's a knockout nonetheless. It's one of the films that I would consider top 5 in my John Carpenter filmography. And if I have to say anything else positive about this movie, is this: if you haven't seen this film, you owe it to yourself to actually watch this film, because it is a fine fucking film, especially when it comes to the soundtrack. John Carpenter you're just a man. You're just a legend. But other than that, this movie, I still watch it from time to time, and I still get a kick out of it because it's one of the best. So guys, for my rating, I'm going to give John Carpenter's Christine an 8 out of 10. So tell me guys, what did you guys think of Christine? Is it one of the movies that you end up actually watching from time to time? And is it one of your favorite John Carpenter films? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you also hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can get notified about all the other movie reviews coming out on this channel. Anyways guys, that's it for me. This has been the Ginger Snaps here. My name is Steven Harrold, and I will talk to you guys later. Now remember, stay spooky, you shitters.